The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
At first, we hit your gadgets with our state-of-the-art digitalized mobile studio with the debate on the road behind the wheels. Later, we launched our magnificent studios located on Plot 1A, Sewagude Close, Lukulinanganda, Machindye, Kampala, where we bring to you our must-watch shows like The Mighty Drive, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., Hotline, Mondays, 7 p.m. As for legal matters, Twins at Bar, Tuesdays, 11 a.m., Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is Afro-Caribbean Link, where we connect Africa with the Caribbean. Voltage on Thursdays, 7 p.m., featuring a youthful panel. Interface with Dr. Kizza Besigye every Friday, 12 p.m. with his call to action against injustices. Snap Talk, Saturdays, 6 p.m. with the trio. A must-watch, The Political Dice, Sundays, 8 p.m. with the duo that never stammers, and so much more. Watch us live on all our social media platforms. We are The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought, but it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds, and here is the reason why. The main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial system you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Interface Show. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. We're into the new month. Today is the 6th of September 2024. A lot of things have been happening in this part of the world. Remember, Uganda is that country that every other day brings out news. There's something new that people will be talking about literally every other day. So we have been in this week and a lot of things have transpired over the space of the week. But before I delve into that conversation, allow me honor you. And of course, thank you so much for tuning in each and every other day. Starting from 12 to 2 p.m. every Friday, you're always here watching the Interface Show. Not only the Interface Show, you watch us when we're doing the Mighty Drive Show, the Hotline First Show. You watch us when we're doing the Mighty Drive Show, the Hotline Show, the Political Dice, the Snap Talk, the Health Hub, all those shows. Thank you so much for always watching. And of course, a special shout out to the people who cut out these videos and you promote them on your social media platforms, especially on TikTok. I hear that we are trending so much on TikTok. So I want to thank you so much. Every man, woman, and child who has done that, it's always something that I feel proud about. And of course, those people who invest even their time and their resources. This part of the world, the data is really expensive. But for you to watch this show for all that time, sometimes the network is a bit funny. But you continue to watch this particular show. I would love to thank you. And of course, the people who watch us from as far as the diaspora, people who are in other countries, people in the Middle East, people in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Bahrain. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have people from as far as the United States of America. Thank you so much for watching us. Those people are in China. It's always a privilege. And remember, this time round, we are streaming both on Facebook and on YouTube. We are at the Alternative Uganda, at Digitalk TV, then also at the page of Dr. Kizza Besigye. We're always streaming on those platforms. Feel free to ask any question on those platforms. Olympian, she has represented Uganda at the Olympics. She was there at these past Olympics in Paris. Unfortunately, she lost her life after a car, or he was actually shot by Uganda Police Force. The common denominator here is that Kyagulanyi actually sustained injuries in January 2026. So what does this really mean to these political players? There's a lot of news stories going on. Some people have lost their lives. Insecurity continues to ravage on.
Digital audience, wherever you are joining us from onto this program of Interface for this week. It's always they have on this show. I hope your week has been well. As Edgar has said, you know, there have been, and yes, you know, he was talking about the injury of Bobi Wine. And I think even more tragic who have been killed. So my sympathy to all of you who have had challenges throughout the week, and condolences rest in all kinds of different ways. You know, we are still dealing with the shooting of domestic violence that is expressed in all kinds of ways. And, you know, you've seen people who have been burnt with acid.
And recently they are cutting, the partners cutting their partner's legs. Some people cut their partner's private parts.
Yes,
and it's happening really a lot.
It's rampant. I mean, a few years ago, of course, our own Chief Justice was nearly killed with a similar situation of pouring hot water on him. And it's definitely a matter that I think we need to have a systematic way of engaging with. It's not one which will just go away because you condemn it. I think there needs to be, you know, engagement at a broader level to cause change in attitudes, change in, you know, the way people relate to each other, the value we attach to life, and it requires, you know, a more comprehensive approach to deal with it. And of course, also some of the causes of domestic violence, you will realize, have something to do with management of resources within the family or within a relationship. And, you know, so again, you know, once there is, you know, extreme deprivation as we suffer from, those are likely to be some of the consequences of that, you know, which, you've seen people being killed for 2,000 shillings.
Yes, 1,000, and they're cuts off the hands of the daughter because they stole 1,000 shillings.
Yes, so, you know, we really need to, the more we develop a fairer society, a more equitable society, the more some of these consequences are reduced. The more girls and boys, in my heart and thoughts go to the family of Rebecca. Cheptegei, and to all the athletes, really.
Reveal their identity, but they were asking on how they can prevent infiltration, especially during their quest for a better Uganda, or in this what we call a struggle. He says that they don't know how to protect
two things. One is the deprivation I have talked about. You know, all these young people co-opted by the state. But the second thing is to do what needs to be done to get out of the situation. So once, this is like somebody who has greater and strongly believes in that, even if he's hungry, even if he's beaten, you won't get him off his belief.
Yes.
Cause is to increase the level of faith in their cause, which is by changes that will forever transform your lives, forever transform your lives, and that even if you are given 5,000 shillings and you have a meal today, tomorrow you will still not have, that it's better to, go through hardship, fight for your cause, even die for it if the need be, but get to a better place. So building that commitment through greater exposure to processes of liberation, how people free themselves from bondage, is the surest antidote against infiltration. But having said that,
because as you continue, because that is from a person who has been into the
means of detect subversion. In other words, people who are not committed to your cause, people who have subversive intentions, what it is that people of such a nature behave like, you are likely to know that this person is likely to be subversive. And then in organizing activities, it is also important that you have layers of trust. That people who participate in activities are not all organizers. They are participants. So the organizers should, those processes of increasing faith in what they are doing must have been, deeply undertaken. The processes of detecting subversion must have been equally undertaken, so that the organizers are fairly, committed, more committed people than just participants.
So there are some things that the organizer will know that a participant should not know.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But having said all that, it's not entirely possible to eliminate infiltrators. They will get in here and there. The beauty of non-violent resistance is that you are not planning anything criminal. So even if they come and arrest you, you have not done anything wrong. You are not intending even to do anything wrong. So they will arrest you and you will come back and continue where you stopped.
Because there is no evidence.
There can't be, because there is nothing wrong. Even the demonstration itself, if you conduct it, there is nothing wrong with it. It's constitutional, it's allowed. You can demonstrate. So it's not disastrous.
Yes, sir.
And I want people to understand that non-violent resistance, and this is why some people who haven't been realizing that the regime is now nearly falling because of the humongous, but people who are resisting don't invest, don't get frustrated that they have.
It's done today.
And even that effort in trying to uncover what you are doing is a success. What they are tracing what you are doing. you know, and you are wearing them down.
That's also a win for you.
Yes, it is. It
yes,
is.
I'm in his home in Luwero. The president said on his X handle that UPC killed 300,000 people for supporting NRA. Records say that over 800,000 people were killed as a former rebel, Kano.
By UPC, which was in the government. Now, the numbers, and it depends on what you use as the cause of death, because some died who were, you know, trapped in the war area without any food or water, or even of soldiers. You know, many soldiers died of malnutrition, and once they are weakened, then other, you know, very superficial estimates of people, you know, without any scientific basis. There were no records there, and I think it's important that that's done. We have been talking about a process of truth-telling, establishing what happened, not just in Luwero, but even in other wars. In the 20-year war of northern Uganda,
Yes.
in the war in eastern Uganda,
Yes.
what has happened in other parts of the country, like in Kasese, all these need to be specifically investigated and have witness evidence and so on. Of course, this is, you know, gradually getting blurred by time. People who would have given information are dying. You know, it is now
It's becoming more difficult.
It's now 40 years since Luwero. So we hope that at the earliest, an effort can be made to establish how many people died, what was the responsibility of each party. Yeah, and of course, UPC and its UNLA is clearly disadvantaged because, and that's the fate of all defeated.
Yes. The victors are the ones who tell the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
They will tell it the way they want it to be told. Yeah, yes.
So the disadvantage of UNLA and the UPC is obvious. That
They lost the war.
They haven't been around to tell the story. It has been the victors
Telling their side of the story.
But that's why an audit, an independent kind of audit, is important, so that we have a record of history that is fairly accurate. But nobody knows, so I can't really offer a specific answer to, you know, the lady who asked whether it's 300, whether it's 800.
Because for him, it's basing on what Mr. Museveni said. And
even Mr. Museveni says different numbers different times. So it's not that Mr. Museveni says the same number. In fact, he has been responsible for
the pressure group, the Eastern Revolutionary Platform. He now also confirms that it's going to metamorphose and become a political party. And this is still geared to 2026.
It's not the mindset of Ugandans, the mindset of many political leaders. Political leaders shouldn't be confused with Ugandans. Political leaders, many of them are pursuing their personal ambitions. And this has nothing to do with the desire of many Ugandans. So yes, political actors is that majority is focused on how to get into political offices, how they themselves get into political offices, become MPs, become councillors, become mayors, become this. So there is I think a gap between their intentions and the intentions of others who are focused on not just changing leaders,
Yes.
but changing power. Because you can change leaders, but the mission of the country is to change power.
Yes.
I mean, all these leaders in parliament have no power. Whether you become a councillor here in Kampala City or even the mayor, you become a Lord Mayor, you are there without any power.
You're ceremonial.
And
And that's the reality.
Yes, you are just there to collect a salary and maybe to be called honorable and but you are absolutely useless.
And that's the reality. I was listening to Jennifer Musisi one time describe Lord Mayor, and I felt
so
small.
I think there is going to be increasingly a contradiction between those pursuing just offices and those pursuing liberation. At some stage, I think we will have to conflict.
Exactly.
Because the way they pursue their ambitions appears to me to be subversive, to be against the liberation, to be undermining the liberation itself. Because actually they don't even, talking about parties, those who don't even mind which party they stand in, they get into an office. So whichever party is likely to bring them to the office, they will join that one, and that very, very opportunistic approach, I think must be called out, must be undermined, must be fought, so that yes, we can and need to participate in elections. I have never myself called for boycott. I don't think boycott is a way to go unless it was not just boycott, but proactive stopping of the election. Because that again we are capable of if we have that focus to say we shall not allow another rigged election to be organized.
But Doctor, you've boycotted the elections. You said you will never be.
Can be a compromise with those what the oppressor will build amongst the oppressed, which is what has been happening all this time.
Yes.
So we can participate and use it, because the fight cannot be just about an election. We must fight before, we must fight during, we must fight after. In other words, we must have our own war plan. It will never lead to liberation. So, two things. First, we all know, maybe some people don't, but I guess the institutions.
Yes.
The Electoral Commission is a Museveni institution. The security for the election is a Museveni security.
Yes.
The finances are Museveni, another form of surrender, saying, we have another.
Because you know the results.
Yes, but so you must be active, and this is why I'm saying the activity shouldn't be limited to the election.
Yes.
We should start now, and I'm glad people are starting. All these people who are fighting corruption, saying no, this cannot go on. That is they are active participants in the struggle, you know.
Yes, sir.
And all these activists can fight through an election. We can organize how we fight through an election, and we must. If we don't, then we are working for Museveni. Because have clarity, we must have a good understanding of what it is we are doing.
Yes, sir.
That we are not just going to an election waiting to be announced. Now here FDC has won, and now there, and now, you know, that will never bring anything. So either we organize to stop the election.
Yes, sir.
We will not allow you to have another rigged election here. We stop it, and we can, if we are so determined.
Yes, sir.
Or to fight through the election. And if we are to fight through the election, we must be organized differently from how we've been organizing. And that needs to start. We are already late. We need to start right away to plan how we fight through not just that election, but fight from now till we get liberation. Whether before the election, whether after the election, whether during the election, we must have our own plan, a war plan that will lead us to liberation. Not just election. If you are just thinking about an election, then you are just lost.
Have you engaged these
You are lost and you are a problem for the country.
Have you engaged the leaders? Because the Ugandans seem to be united on ground. There are no political parties and colors among Ugandans. But these leaders, the ones that you...
Well, I'm sure you know that we have been working extremely hard on that. And we have made progress in building the idea of the united forces of change. And we've built some, some thinking around it, but not to the level which definitely I am happy with.
So it's not convincing.
I'm not happy with that. What some of our, I think, people and maybe even leaders don't understand.
Ready to take power. But if you realize,
there is no
all signals for a collapsing state are here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not yet collapsed,
absolutely.
As you say, but you can see that something is falling.
It's of taking over power, because look at all the state institutions.
Everything looks to be down.
You can't. You saw Mr. Museveni talking to the policemen.
Yes.
The policemen are telling him, we have no fuel. We have no vehicles. We can't move from place A to place B. And you've been seeing it in the media. People come and kill people. The people who are attacked, they call the police. Police say, first send
us fuel.
Send us money so that we come to do police work.
Exactly.
You cannot at all claim to still have a government. You can't. Look at the way all our roads in the capital city look like.
Yes, sir.
You can't. Garbage. Now we are being buried literally by garbage.
Yes.
I heard this morning a warning from the meteorologists saying rain is going to intensify towards the end of this month. Prepare for diseases in Kampala. Because
Doctor.
this was an announcement by the meteorologist. It was.
Did they use the word diseases?
Yes.
Oh.
And so this is the, where your government lives. How can you claim to have a government, And when you see, the way, that there is the chief of defense forces, saying, look what the president hanging out with thieves.
Let's go for a short commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. Everything that seems to be going wrong is literally going wrong. Is the opposition ready to take power? That is a question that I ask myself. And I also ask you, because literally everything, the intern doctors are striking, doctors have been striking, KCCA was striking, corruption in parliament, corruption in every institution. It looks like all the signs of a system that is failing are eminent. But are the opposition people ready to take power? Let's go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk about the nude protesters, talk about what happened to Kyagulanyi, and if we have more time, we'll talk about what is happening in Uganda's parliament. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. This is the Interface Show. You're watching Digitalk TV.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
What at the church, though?
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanyana.
Purely political,
Well researched,
accurate and global.
Oyagala bya parliament oba council.
Yes, State House oba ghetto.
And yeah, you guys, oba your DPA kuchi.
Olwa jema.
Bano ba MKCG bo baddawa.
Abo bafuna CDF baamala tebabanja. Olwo baba ate bange bali kuchi.
Abo bo akina kulabisa simanyanga posturing tebabiri mbali mu structure building. Naye atono ye.
Ani oyo oba.
Yali kuchi.
Oyo tumuleketa gamba mpanyiga mawu.
Ebe ndabe nabirindira nokuda political dice ku the alternative dig talk nange teditenja ewamune.
Farida bikobere
Buli wa Sunday sawa 2.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
You're watching the Interface Show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. We are into the second hour of the show. It's exactly 1 p.m. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have a couple of messages. Nacho, you continue by saying, but isn't this a contradiction from Dr. From Kizza Besigye? He says he doesn't believe in an election, message that pushes away many from participating in the process and indirectly boycotting. And now he is saying we shouldn't boycott. I think he gave an explanation to that. Olishe Lumbuye Holik says United Forces of Change nga n'ekibiina kiri mu kweyawulamu ate mwogoba Kyagulanyi ngazze okubeegattako. You continued and said, Dr. Besigye, you are a doctor who can't even unite with your fellow doctor to save the health system in Uganda. Nayo kyawuddisa bannansi. Amagezi Dr. Gowa bannansi singa wagakozesa emirundi gy'ozze weesimbawo nze ngamba singa twenunula dda. Mpirwe Desire, thanks for the program. You're live in Dubai, UAE.
To blame ourselves. That you can have a leader,
yes, sir,
who takes the last penny from your pocket, does not provide you health, does not provide you education or quality education, does not do your roads, you have no this, you can't afford the price of electricity because he has stolen from the dams, you know, who has put you against the wall, but you are still there, you know, happy to see the leader continue. You can't blame the leader, you are foolish. You are the person who is totally foolish. And we must, you know, deal with that foolishness within our community. That we can be led by the type of leaders we have here. You know, people go and visit other countries and see how they are run. They come back to this garbage and so on, and they still keep quiet and accept it. So you can't blame the leader. You must blame yourself. And this is, you know, it permeates in the kind of comments and questions you see people ask. You know, one reads what they write on these social media platforms. You say, but this, what is inside that round thing on top of the shoulders of this person?
Doctor, you're going personal.
It's not personal.
We have learned.
You know, we must address it. This is something very, very serious that we have to address.
Yes, sir.
You know, how, you know, people can accept the kind of things that they accept. If you like, including from me, because I hear many people, you know, saying, but you have failed. So if I have failed, what are you doing? Why don't you come up and fill the
void, yeah.
The void. If, this is what I am saying, you know, the government has collapsed, but we are here. As long as the community university is here.
Export refund.
The situation.
Doctor, we got to conduct trainings and they want us to pay them to sit in the trainings that are going to help them.
Absolutely. So that is where you know that there is a bigger problem. And which we need, we have no choice but to deal with the problem. Because we have no other country. This is the only country we have, and we must invest our everything to try and make it work for all of us.
Okay.
So, you know, I had obviously already responded to the difference between boycott.
Do you have any comment on the activity that was done by these young ladies who were remanded to
Their own life is a matter that needs very serious attention, inquiry. Went to visit that area.
Yes, sir.
To inquire into the dispute that was being his mother. They were right in front of him, stark naked. And again, you know, there was a debate. And that situation of APA is still festering on, in spite of those extreme measures. For me, understand that conditions, livable road carnage has a lot to do with things they walk on the road.
Sam Seven won't agree with you. He was laughing at someone who said that the cause of these accidents is because the roads are too small. And he's saying that cannot be a reason.
Of course, he's the reason. The women, how can you, you don't respect your women? How can you don't respect yourselves? How can, they don't know even, they don't, you know, you are talking.
People were blaming Bobby Wine and they're saying, Bobby Wine as Savannah. And that was the narrative. And one would ask, well, how about the person who's killing these young people?
Some of it is by the regime itself. Some of those noises. Because I have told you that, you know, if you are blaming somebody demonstrating against what is hurting you, it means that you are confused. You know. Yes. So, yes, nudity is, especially in our own is a bit shocking, and I think that's why it's potent.
Exactly.
But, you know, people who also exaggerate the, say, you know, this is indecent, I don't understand them, because, I'm sure, because, you see, it's like Kasese. The massacre in Kasese was part of electoral violence of November 2016. Electoral violence, which seeks to intimidate the population, discourage them to have anything to do with the election, and vote. You know? So part of it is calculated to start causing fear, thinking about very effectively, is about 100 times less than what Uganda. The crimes of it are about 1,000 times less than what was passed in Parliament here, including keenly aware that the discontent of especially young people is soon reaching the roof. So there is that jitteriness about, you know, a possibility of mass protest. And so that's why I think, for the two reasons, they will attack any leader they suspect has ingredients relating to these two. May have popular support. That support could be stirred into popular protest. And so it's not surprising to me at all. Even if you see, this has nothing to do with crowd control, absolutely nothing. Because comes to crowd around those. That was his own team. He left.
Foot soldier.
Yes, he must have left his home with them or organized. Though that is his team which he moves with. And indeed, they are easily identifiable because they are uniformed.
Exactly.
So you can see that this is the crowd, you know. There was no crowd. They were on the move, actually.
Yeah, they were done with
so this was simply intended to scare people. And I looked at the clips where that grenade burst that injured him. He had just stepped out of the car and it burst from his foot, literally. And these are not, so those grenades, they have two effects. One, they make a lot of noise. You know, blast. They make noise. Secondly, they fragment and injure. That's not for the crowd. You know, that's not intended for...
You called it a grenade. I think they're calling it a tear gas canister.
No. This is not tear gas canister. It's not. It's not a tear gas canister. Tear gas canister just fumes and brings out the gas. This one has no gas, actually. It just blasts.
Doctor, a grenade can kill Kyagulanyi tomorrow. Or yesterday would have killed him if it were.
These are plastic. So they are rubber. They are rubber grenades.
Yes.
Hard rubber. And yes, of course, even that fragment with the speed at which it moves, it can indeed cause severe injury. But because it is on the ground, so it tends to hit the legs. I was hit by one in about exactly the same place he was hit. In Katwe, we were in Katwe having a rally there. And they threw it at me again, exactly intentionally. And it hit Mwijuche, it hit me. On another occasion, it hit me again. I didn't know I had been hit. Because Nabila, whom we had collapsed, I was paying attention to Nabila until we reached the hospital. I saw blood and my trouser. So they used them deliberately, you know. So they definitely targeted him.
Before you talk about targeting and continue, there is a person who has said, ask him if stunts do apply in politics, trying to say that this is a political stunt. And just to add on that, some people did not even want me to ask you about this question, saying that these are just political stunts. How true is this according to you?
We review any situation very differently. Yes, you saw when Trump was shot recently, really ridiculous. Because you cannot organize somebody to shoot with a live bullet and shoot at your ear. You know, the question you can ask is whether the person who threw that grenade was a Kyagulanyi supporter. Individuals react differently to injury. Because again, I've seen some, you know.
They were comparing you.
I've
already read your message here. There is Dennis Kasigazi. The policy of participating in an election and using it for the struggle can be abused by self-seekers and exploited by the regime itself to buy more messages. Kapapula Umar, thank you so much for watching. Depending on the political environment, I'm simply suggesting let's focus on coming election market. One cannot understand that. Then there is Derek Telson, Luganda. You're watching live from Ginger. And Doctor, the statement by Kapapula of looking at, marketing leaders on every level and people from down, that if we can hypothetically get those positions down, as you, the opposition, it will be easy for you to fight for power at the biggest position. Comment on that.
Well, I don't agree with it because, first of all, even if you ask the crux of the matter, and so it's a process simply of legitimization of a process that does not eventually change much.
Okay.
And what we have also witnessed, so that power can be dispersed, I could pay attention. Even
I think fellow politicians seem not to agree with your approach. Right now, most of the politicians are gearing up for 2026. Imagine including the main opposition party.
Election. This country will be actually completely bankrupt. Maybe that will be the contribution the election would have caused. Because then everybody will sit at home. We must participate in one form or another. And we will see what happens at the end of.
Well, there is something we are not seeing in these regional parliaments. What do you think about that, sir?
Well, I think the regional parliament has three issues. Take the candidate Museveni there to appear. Again, it's a deception. To appear in the region, to pay attention to the
issues,
problems of the region,
exactly,
which he has not attended to all this time. Nobody was stopping him. He has RDCs who should be knowing every problem in the district. He has DSOs, he has GSOs who know the problem of every sub-county. He has PSOs who know the problem of every parish. So he's not short of information, which we pay for. We pay all those PSOs, GSOs, DSOs, RDCs, RESOs, I don't know what. He is, literally drowning in information about what is in every part of the country. He simply has not paid any attention to it. So the regional parliament is for politicking. To say, I am now coming to pay attention. Just like all their programs, that's how they are constructed, like PDM, and all the hula barrow that went behind the PDM. Now, what has PDM done to solve the problems? Absolutely nothing. But they will drop.
But there are some testimonials from the rural areas who say PDM has done something for them. But let's continue.
So I see the regional parliaments as that part. Previously, it was wealth creation. Museveni would move with wealth creation meetings in the regions. So now it is the same electoral journey now paid by Parliament. I think the vote for doing that is through Parliament. So that is what I see as the first real intention. The second intention is likely to be to shift debate from the national cry about the robbery in Parliament. Because, everybody was jeering to protest to Parliament about the theft in Parliament, about this. There was the Sechkubo motion, which was still raging there. There was, the Parliament and its image, and so now they say, now let's take Parliament close to the people. We are coming there to solve your problems. So it's to shift attention, I think, of the population to this debate now. Is regional good, not good? The people of Northern...
One would ask, have the issues of the central Kampala, where the Parliament has been sitting for the last couple of years, have they been solved?
No.
They don't look like they have.
In talking about the real reasons, I am simply suggesting that what they say are the reasons are definitely not. That they are coming closer to the people to solve the problems there, to give more attention. That is all trash, absolute nonsense. Because you can pay even the minutest attention, 1.6 million. You haven't put in the transportation that is taking them and bringing them back, and the other to deal with certain aspects that are known, or that you can know from sitting here. And they have already been having committees of Parliament that go out there.
Yes.
They even sent them ahead to collect. So they can collect all that and bring it here. And the money that you have spent on this is then spent on actually touching on people's lives, dealing with the schools, with the hospitals, with the roads, with whatever. That money go there.
Yes.
So what they are really taking closer is they are stealing. I don't think that.
Because why would you even get an allowance of 1.6 million? Don't you get a normal allowance?
I think is to some extent plausible is that it infuses some cash in those towns where they go, and that again has some political benefit it then yields. Of course, there was a big loan to make roads in these towns.
Yes, yes.
There was a big loan to make roads, which of course they will not maintain, just like here, so partly it is not only to give the, to put in some boost in the urban-centered businesses, but also to try and show that, things here have changed. So it's all politics.
I get you. Because there's that project you're talking about that was going to make sure that you can, from border to border in Uganda, roads are constructed.
Yes. So this is not border to border. This is urban. Urban
centers.
Urban roads.
Okay.
All these roads all these towns, they turned into cities. A road construction project.
Okay.
Whether it's for Porto, whether it's
Mbale,
Masaka, okay. They have had those projects. And so again, I think apart from taking some benefit to create excitement in those towns, political excitement, and maybe some economic excitement, it is also to showcase that there is something being done here. But overall, it will leave the regions much worse. Yes, because all this money which is being spent is their money. It's not anybody else's money. It's like a PDM. Say we are bringing you. Whose money are you bringing me? It is my money, which you took away from me in billions, and you are now bringing me
100 million.
Yes. So it just crumbs of what you took away from me.
Has commenced. I know. But Julius Buyinza, thank you so much for watching. We're coming to the end of this so much for watching. Princess Luwede, you're watching. Pere David, Norman Tumuhimbisa, I can see you here. Stella Nyanzi, thank you so much for all watching. Doctor, just give us your parting.
It's not an exaggeration. We are actually on our own. There is no government, as I can see now. Government collapsed a while back.